Welcome back to Rachel's Whimsical Arts, and I'm Miss Rachel Simpson, here to show you a new art lesson, something that you can do with something found in your kitchen, maybe. Find some chocolate. It doesn't have to be Hershey's. It could be milk chocolate. It could be dark chocolate. It could even be chocolate chips, and melt them in your microwave for about 30 seconds, then stir it, and 30 more seconds. Stir it again, check on it, watch it while it's microwave so it doesn't actually get too hot. And it should come out pretty smooth like this. Now, if you're like me and you want your chocolate to be extra runny, or it doesn't solidify too fast, I put a tiny dollop of butter. I'm talking like half a tablespoon, if that. And then that helps it stay smooth. And then we are going to paint self-portrait. So I'm going to use some of my paintbrushes here and experiment with painting a portrait. It's not my self-portrait. It is of a famous artist that you will recognize. So please follow along as I do this with chocolate. It's my first time painting with chocolate, and I am a little excited about it. So first, I'm gonna concentrate on their, oops, I made a dribble. So, you know, accidents happen. I'm gonna concentrate on their face and get their shape down. Now, I have not painted with chocolate before, but you know, like I said, this is an experiment, and we all have things that we want to try or play with and have fun. The nice thing about this one is I'm going to see if I can wipe this clean. Yep. Okay, it wiped clean. Nice. The nice thing about doing something with chocolate is a lot of us are fans of chocolate or have some at home that you can ask your parents if you're a kid. Don't just raid the baking cupboard and expect your mom to be okay with it without asking. I've done that before, and then my mom questioned me, where did that go? When she was going to bake cookies or something chocolate and yummy. So after you get your chocolate and you melt it, I mean, actually before I even melted my chocolate, I decided ahead of time what portrait of a famous artist was I going to do. And I decided that I would do someone that a lot of people are familiar with, just because it would make more sense to do someone that that is recognizable. So once I get to the face and you see some of the parts coming out, maybe you will recognize the person here. Now, my paintbrush isn't super small. I didn't get my fine tipped ones out, but I'm just gonna go with it, okay? And see how it turns out. Now, I am going back and forth with my brush because I'm having to either wipe off too much chocolate, as the paint would be. I would do this with paint too if it was too thick. And then I would make sure that the edge of my brush is wiped clean, so I can add a little bit more paint or chocolate or whatever you're using on your brush, and it might be easier for you. Now, I am not expecting all of you to be, I don't expect myself to be like great at this the first time. So I will just do my best and see how this goes. You may hear me talk a little bit. You may hear me get become quiet because I might have to concentrate on how to adapt to this medium. It's kind of different. It's definitely different. I don't normally do self-portraits of people. I tend to paint and draw more of animals. So my self-portrait might not be the best one, but you know what? That's okay. I'm not trying to be the best here. I'm just having fun and experimenting with painting with chocolate, because a couple weeks ago I painted with coffee and I loved it. I probably will go back to the coffee again to do a more extensive project. Chocolate was another one I thought, well, you know, I'm just gonna see what happens and try it out. Doesn't mean I'm gonna like it. But you know what? I'm noticing, and you might notice this too, when you paint with chocolate, it will cure or it will solidify as it cools, all right? Which is fine. That is just part of what chocolate does, right? I'm already noticing some changes that I would do if I was painting or drawing my picture on a piece of paper before I painted it. So that's the one challenge here, is you cannot pre-draw and use your pencil and your handy eraser for this, because it is on a plate. I chose a white plate so that I could see my picture better. I didn't want it on a blue plate or dark color, you know, any kind of dark color, dark green, dark blue, brown. Obviously not brown, because this would just become invisible in brown background. So I chose a white plate that would be circular. There are different shapes of plates, so it's really up to you what shape of plate you want, but choose to have white or pale color, because it'll determine how you can make your picture more visible. Now, as oh man, this eye is not quite right. That's okay. As I start to put in more details of this person, you will probably recognize who they are. And I'm already seeing error here, just because that was just too far up. So you can adjust, you can fix it with a paper towel. That's all I'm using. And I'm just rolling my paper towel in a little cone, so there's a point on the end, so I can get small areas. If you don't roll it up and you just use like a big piece, a big corner like this, it could smear and smudge a bigger area that you're not trying to get. So, all right, now some of you might recognize who this is based on the unibrow. But if you don't, that's okay. You will see more in a few seconds. Dang, this brush isn't quite... I suggest using a small brush if you have any, because I'm noticing globs of chocolate that are not really what my intention is. See there, it smeared a little bit. So the smaller the brush, the better. You know what else works if you don't have a brush though? Here's a useful art tip. You can use a Q-tip, the end of a pencil sometimes, for tiny little dots or stylus. So here, I might try this for the inside of her ear. You could use a pencil, the tip of a pencil, which is not a bad idea, okay? Because now I can get smaller areas. I do have to dip my pencil in a lot more, but I could do dots this way, so that's also useful. And I am going to have to like reapply the chocolate a little bit more because it is a pencil. It doesn't have bristles to hold on to that chocolate. But you know, why not? Try it out. See what works. Q-tip, you could try a Q-tip if you have a Q-tip at home and you don't have a brush. And now I'm gonna scrape off extra chocolate here and try and wipe off the extra because it's becoming a blobby mess. That's okay, we got more paper towels or even just a dish towel, that would work too. All right, so I'm gonna use a bit of a bigger brush for the hair. And see about that. Now, I will say the other fun part about this is there are textures when you look at chocolate. I'm going to hold this up. There's higher parts to the chocolate that are raised and lower parts. So that's cool. I think that's kind of a fun technique. A fun extra thing is having some kind of texture going on. And you may already know this, but chocolatiers and dessert chefs oftentimes have a creative thumb instead of a green thumb. They have a creative thumb. And they will, here, look at what my pencil's doing. That's cool. They will often paint and draw different things on their pastries and their cakes. So there are plenty of different trades and careers where people have to have a way to be creative to make their product look really nice. If they're just baking or making something that's functional, but it doesn't look appealing to people, guess what? Not very many people are going to want to purchase it or buy it or eat it. So we tend to make things that are attractive or that have an appeal that makes people go, oh, you know, that looks appetizing, or that looks like something I would eat or I would try to put on or wear or put in my home. Designers need it. Everybody needs to be creative, honestly. So this is not my best painting of a person. I am realizing that I feel like right now I am drawing with my left hand because I'm right-handed. Because this is so thick, it's like I wish I could water it down, but it's not meant to be watered down. So, oops, sorry guys, I have to reach over here and get something. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to make this like an abstract self-portrait. It's not realistic. It's of a person. This is, okay, so some of you probably already know, this is Frida Kahlo. Her self-portrait with thorn necklace and hummingbird is the inspiration I had, but it's not the best. Like hers obviously is going to be far better quality, but I'm also doing it pretty quick, and I don't want to spend a long time painting with the chocolate because it will eventually get solid. So I do have to make this kind of a quick sketch of a painting, okay? Notice I'm using a different kind of paintbrush. It's called a filbert with a rounded edge. But that's because I'm doing her hair right now, and I wanted it to have bigger, broader strokes of the color. You know, this is just for fun. I'm I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm not going to critique myself. And when you play with chocolate or try to paint with coffee or chocolate or some kind of food item, give yourself room to just explore the way to do this with this new kind of material. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Just enjoy it and play with it. All right, so there are a couple of things in her hair, and this is one of the things that I truly admire about her paintings, was that she had self-reflection on and meaning. There was symbolism and meaning in her paintings of what this meant to her while she was going through transitions with her health and staying home a lot, and she still needed to create art. And she was a very interesting artist. I suggest, if you are interested in learning about someone new and you don't know very much about her besides, oh, I recognize that painting, but that's it. She did a self-portrait painting with her and a monkey. That's pretty famous. But if that's all you know about the person, you might want to just read up about what other kinds of art they did and why was it important to them to make art. What did they get out of it? Artists get a lot of positive feedback, not necessarily from people, but with themselves. There's a lot of great things that you can get. There's art therapy. And I mean, this isn't necessarily art therapy per se. I'm not seeing a counselor to do this, but when I work with art and I paint something, I can focus on my project and work through emotions or feelings or struggles that I'm having throughout the day, and I can just let it go and just work on this and think about something I enjoy doing. All right, so this is not the best. I'm laughing at myself because it's very heavy-handed, and when I paint and draw people that or animals and backgrounds, I tend to do less heavy-handed with thick portions of paint. So this is just kind of fun. I'm laughing at myself. This is not my normal painting. This is just for fun. Anyways, the other things about Frida Kahlo that was really interesting, and here's a thing that I really liked, is she always put colorful backgrounds of leaves and animals around her. So I'm just going to add some leaves. We'll see how they look here. I'm going to try and make this one. She did a lot of things with nature included in her picture, as well as her self-portraits, as well as symbolism. So her hair, there is like this braid around her hair, which she did beautiful things with her hair all the time. These are supposed to be butterflies. They don't really look like butterflies, but that's okay. I'm just playing with it, and you can laugh at me too. It's not really the greatest. She did, so here's her little knot. I'm not going to paint all of it, but she had necklaces on sometimes, and beautiful clothing, colorful outfits. And I feel like I'm just gonna keep adding more, and then it's just gonna be too much. But let's just play with this. This is not gonna be like a masterpiece that I'm going to print and give to my family in cards or something. Just playing with it. When you experiment with anything, whether it's a new kind of paint or a new kind of drawing material, you just have to let it go. Say, I'm just goofing around. I just want to know how this works. If it doesn't work out, then I can just practice again and do a different way of doing things with it. That's really okay. And this chocolate is so thick, it's weird to paint with. That's all right, whatever. I keep telling myself it's okay. And now you hear me. These are kind of like my thoughts when I'm thinking out loud to myself of that didn't work. Well, maybe I'll try this instead. Yeah, you just have to let it go sometimes. Let it out. Talk about it. Joke with yourself or your friends and your family and just say, this is how ridiculous I was. Can you see what happened here? It started out great, and then I just kept adding more, and it kind of went all crazy. All right. So, play with it, see what you think. I love the idea of having chocolate afterwards to eat. I probably won't eat all this chocolate, but maybe I'll turn some of it into like a mocha or a hot chocolate drink, because I do have a lot of chocolate now left over, right? Yeah. And there's a hummingbird. Not a hummingbird. There's a dragonfly that I'm trying to do. Now, the other nice thing about this, again, is any age person can do this. If you're a young kid, though, like, in your elementary school age, you might need to have help from your parents to get the chocolate out and melt it in the microwave and put it in a bowl for you so you can paint with it. Maybe you can do that while your parents or your grandparents or your family is cooking something, and you can paint on a plate with a little bit of the chocolate that they're using. I hardly used any of this chocolate. I probably used enough that filled a heaping spoonful. I didn't use very much. So I didn't know like the amount of a whole chocolate bar would be too much chocolate. Now I know if I wanted to do it again, I would probably just break off this little part right here, melt that, and it would be plenty. I didn't need very much. So if you enjoyed this, thank you. I hope that you come again and check out my other videos that I have. You're welcome to leave comments or feedback at the bottom of my YouTube channel and in my videos. I post new ones every week on Friday that are free access for everyone to look at and take a look at and enjoy. And you're welcome to follow Rachel's Whimsical Arts on both Facebook and Instagram. Please enjoy this, share it, have fun making something with an unusual medium that you can find in your kitchen, and be creative. So my message to you is be kind, let's shine. I think times like now, when people are having a hard time or when people are struggling, or even if you're just having a down day, but normally your days are good, you just gotta be kind to one another. Anyways, thank you again for joining me, and you take care now. Thank you. Bye-bye.